This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. Time magazine is out with their Person of the Year. Now, we have all speculated as to who it should be. Not Al.
Definitely
not Al. It may come as a surprise to you that it's not Al, but maybe not so much of a surprise for some of you. It's Taylor Swift.
Yes.
She is the first entertainer to ever receive the honor. She's also the first woman to appear twice on a Person of the Year cover. She was named in 2017 and recognized as one of the silence breakers who inspired women to speak out about sexual misconduct. But it's not just Time magazine that is recognizing Taylor. She also tops People's 2023 Most Intriguing People of the Year list. And she was number 5 on Forbes' list of the most powerful women in the world. So what do you make of all of this? Al, you have been vocal about Taylor being in the headlines so much lately. What do you think about this?
I think it's right on the nose, Steph. Look, you know, you can't argue with facts. I remember, I go to L.A. My kiddos are still in school there, so I'm there all the time, stay in the same hotel most of the time. And, Sundays, sometimes I fly home Monday morning. So Sundays, I know what that hotel looks like. The parking lot is gone. Most people check out. People are headed back home to wherever they're going. And I was weirdly in Denver the weekend she was here, and then she was in LA that next weekend. So I was also touring with Taylor. And the hotel parking lot was packed that Sunday. And as I was keying into my room, there was a couple, guy was probably in his late 60s, wife is in her early 60s, and they go, "Are you here for the concert too?" And I was like, the fact that they also thought that I was in their demo lets me know that this woman runs the world.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I see it, Steph.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think the fact that she brought in the $5 billion just to the US economy alone, it's incredible when we're facing really tough and really bad times, recession-wise, especially in Europe and everything. She's also bringing that money over to my side of the pond. She's a force to be reckoned with. She can do everything. She can sing, she can write, she can, hold the lights of Scooter Braun up, which is a tough challenge, I think she's absolutely wonderful. She deserves this accolade, for sure.
I think it's really interesting that she's the first entertainer ever to win Time's Person of the Year, meaning what that means in our social climate. But I also have to say this. She's not just an entertainer. She's, I think, a beautiful role model. And I think we forget that. There's a lot of entertainers out there that you necessarily wouldn't want your daughter following, or you wouldn't want the lyrics or whatever. And not only is she never really messed up, and when she does mess up, she explains it and puts herself out there, but she doesn't really drink. She doesn't do a ton of drugs. She's a good person. She gave $100,000 each to the truck drivers on her tour. Yeah. She cares. She cares about politics, the social climate. One of my first jobs, DBL, was going to her Denver courthouse. Remember that? I stood outside.
Oh, yeah.
She sued for $1 just to make a point. This woman has simultaneously caught up with our social climate and has sort of been the microcosm of what it is. And I really respect her modeling for the rest of the young girls that are following her. I really do. I think she's excellent.
I think for people who might be surprised because they don't know the depths of Taylor Swift, and maybe they're just being introduced for the first time through the NFL and her relationship with Travis Kelce.
Who? No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
But I know she made comments about the NFL and Travis Kelce. Do we have that?
She said, "I don't care if I'm offending any football dads, Brads, or Chads." Mm-hmm. She said she didn't care.
Now that I took issue with.
You took issue?
I took issue just because, obviously you have to give Taylor her props, even though she was number 5 on the Forbes list. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm just kidding.
Are you on the Forbes list?
Honestly, I don't even know where you would go to do that. But, honestly, for a lot of folks in this country and worldwide, football is their Taylor Swift. That's their fandom. That's how they communicate with their friends. That's how they travel to games, like people travel to her concerts. And I think if they broke in with highlights of football during her concerts, I think that her fans would rightfully have something to say. That's not going to end the concert, but I feel like they have a platform to speak, and I think that that's what it was. There weren't demonstrations outside, but people were like, "Hey, put my football back on."
I wonder if there's some intersectionality, though, for some of the dads whose little girls might be interested in watching the game with them.
Little bingo there.
Right.
So, obviously, the NFL isn't complaining about this because the revenue is speaking for itself.
Teen girls spiked 53% in teen girls watching football.
That says a lot.
Way to go.
Well, last night, night was the season finale of Dancing with the Stars, and for the first time, there were 5 teams that competed in the finale. Now, spoiler alert. I said it, spoiler alert. Actress Allison Hannigan finished in 5th. Former Bachelorette Charity Lawson finished in 4th. Wow. Vanderpump Rules star Ariana Madix finished in 3rd. And singer Jason Mraz, I can hear Jeff just crying right now. No! Finished in 2nd. It was Marvel star Xochitl Gomez who was named the winner. Each contestant had 2 dances, and Xochitl earned perfect scores on both. There was some worry that Charity wouldn't be able to compete because during rehearsal, she hit her jaw on a pro backup dancer who dropped her and went to the hospital. Now, several previously eliminated contestants returned to perform as well, including Jamie Lynn Spears, who danced after quitting the reality show. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here for medical reasons.
I was going to say, that was a quick turnaround because she was filming that in Australia not so long ago. Gave no credit to Britney as to why she was famous. She's like, oh, people kind of know me because of... I was like, girl, because you're Britney's sister, okay? But yeah, she did a quick flight turnaround after getting her pay. She had to be in there a certain amount of days. Those days came and up and out of Australia she went.
Wow. Check clear.
Just to get another check at the Dancing with the Stars.
Well, hey,
are you guys more surprised? I'm
Yep.
sorry to interrupt. Are you guys more surprised that there are not more injuries? I was blown away. First of all, I still haven't gotten over Selma Blair from 2 years ago. We were blindfolded. I think that's when I was like, because I was like, I don't know about the show, and I saw that. I'm like, well, I'm gonna cry on TV now.
Totally.
But these dances are intricate and serious. I'm surprised we don't see more, you know, pulled hamstrings, broken ankles. They're doing the high heels.
A lot of celebrities that have come on say they lose a ton of weight and get in their best shape of their lives because it's so intense.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like a dancer schedule.
They're practicing like 10, sometimes 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there are so many injuries. If you follow some of the people or, you know, behind the scenes or their Instagrams, they're always icing something. They've got a sprained ankle.
Yeah, right.
But I think the passion for what they do gets so intense, and I think they join it for maybe whether it's publicity, to learn to dance, whatever. But I think they genuinely all seem to have such a good time. They just want to keep going, and they'll put their bodies through so much to make it through.
Does anyone think that Xochitl won because she might be starring in a Disney show and ABC is affiliated with Disney and they did it that way? Am I the bummer town?
I don't know if, I mean, that would kind of imply that it's rigged.
Right,
I have had a theory that it is important where you're coming from, especially going to ABC, because a lot of people who are watching broadcasts are loyalists to certain channels.
Absolutely.
And, whatever. So if you get someone who's from that family or from that broadcast station, of course you're going to kind of
They're already familiar, right? They recognize your face, and that is huge. If you go on one of these shows as like a not so known, you're out within a week or two. There's no loyalty.
Okay.
Well, coming up on DBL, Hugh Grant is revealing why he hated working on the Wonka movie, and a new twist in the TJ Holmes and Amy Robach saga. Are their exes really dating each other now? The tea.
Sometimes.
His best friend and stylist Ralph Cirillo died.
He passed away, right? Yeah.
Wow. What does that guy look like?
I didn't know. I saw that on my YouTube feed, but I didn't know that was today. Brianna, what's up?
Just real quick, I wanted to clear up. Selma was on last season.
I was thinking last. She said two. She said two. And she made me
I didn't say two, I said blindfolded. No, I didn't. I didn't say two.
I said last season.
Yeah, I didn't say two. No.
I just want to clear that up.
I said blindfolded.
Al said 2 years ago.
You said two, not me.
Also, another thing.
I said 2 years ago?
Yeah, so don't come at me.
Throughout the season, a lot of people did get injured.
Look at Brianna, she still hates being on the Dancing with the Stars beach.
I've watched
Oh,
It's a great show. They're good
I
dancers.
think she fractured her wrist, and she was actually dancing last night and still has like a cast thing on.
What is her name?
Mira Sorvino.
Oh, Mira. Mira. I thought you said
You may have
Amira.
heard
I
of
thought
her
you.
from everywhere.
That's right.
So she hurt her ankle a couple times. Ariana had back issues the entire
So they do
time,
get hurt
so-
often.
Yeah, all the
Wow.
time.
Dancers suck up
I
so
twisted my
much.
ankle while watching last night.
That makes sense. That makes sense. If you didn't know, a lot of people, dancers' toes are all messed up. Have you ever dated
Football
dancers?
players as well.
Is that
It's
right?
called turf toe.
Yeah, 'cause they
Deion
hit
Sanders
the-
had to get some of his toes amputated.
I heard that.
And they were talking about, I mean, I guess they're holding it off that he might even have to lose his foot. Turf toe is like,
Is
your
it when you
feet are-
stop?
Well, your feet are jammed in those cleats like this.
Just like a ballet
So
toe.
you kind of have, your toes are like that.
Well, I was telling Ray when we went to Mile High or Empower Stadium last week about how lucrative those jobs are for turf management for the professional sports, because so much of it has to do with like.
Yes.
Welcome back. Is it a revenge relationship or is it true love? That's the question everyone is asking after hearing TJ Holmes and Amy Robach's exes are now dating. Now, the affair between Amy and TJ was revealed last year. We all know about it. And the couple's still apparently going strong. But now, as in like yesterday, Page Six is reporting that TJ's ex-wife, Mary Lee, and Amy's ex-husband, Andrew Shue, are now dating. Now, they've been together about 6 months and appear to be bonding over the trauma of the cheating experience.
Is that what we're calling it?
Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Tori, you were telling this story about someone that you knew.
Yeah.
And I think this might be, not that this happens all the time.
It's more
but I think it
common.
might be more common than we think. Now, I lived in a high-rise building in Denver, and we ironically called it Melrose Place because there was always some saga that was happening. But there was a situation where there was a cheating scandal, and they were found out. And the exes, or the people that got cheated on, did get together, and they lived in different cities, and they made it work. And she actually moved from Denver to the city that the guy who also got cheated on, and now they have like a family and everything. And the original couple who were cheating on each other
Are gone.
They are no longer
They're no
together.
longer. I think that happens a lot. This also famously happened to Shania Twain. Let's go, girls. Her ex cheated, that she ended up switcheroo. But what do you guys think will happen? First of all, I'm so into this for Andrew Shue.
You said you were out on this yesterday.
I'm out on Amy and
this show in that chair.
Right. I'm out on Amy and TJ. I'm in on the other two. Those other two are the underdogs.
What are their names?
They are Marina and Andrew.
Mary Lee.
Mary Lee and Andrew. And they are great together, and I want to see a movie
How
about
do we know
them.
they're great together, Tori?
I want to know a podcast.
I don't think
they're
they
the
are.
underdogs.
I don't
You want a podcast from them?
I'm saying Andrew Shue, first off, is a famous actor, or was, and so I would love to hear from him. But to me, they're the story, not the other two. I don't care about those narcissists. Give me the
What do you
underdogs.
think about this stuff?
You know, like both of you guys said, it is more common, weirdly, and I think trauma bonding is a real thing, and I think obviously they've commiserated together, they've shared their woes together, their divorces together, and then now they're in love. And like you mentioned Shania Twain, this is a bonkers story. So she met a songwriter who eventually became her manager. Her assistant was her best friend. The assistant got with the manager in secret. They are still, I think they're still together, and Shania got with the assistant's husband.
Yeah, switcheroo.
And they're still together.
Yeah.
And it works all round.
Yeah, trauma bonding.
I don't know
There's
about
also
that.
young kids who are involved. Now, you can look at it one of two ways. Let's say that both of these relationships actually stand the test of time.
That's great for the kids.
After a while, maybe it is best for the kids that it happened that way. Or one of them dissolves, and now you have this whole other situation that's happening that's been so cross-pollinated that it's probably very confusing to young children because we're having a hard time following it
But do you guys think
ourselves.
it's like just not a good look when you guys both get together after being cheated on because you both kind of have that
But maybe it works.
loser stink, you know?
It's not a loser
It's
stink.
not hot, Erica. Like, let me tell you how I didn't read his phone.
I think it's
I don't know if it's cute. I'd be a bit. I don't know how good if it was me. I don't know how good I'd feel telling people how did you meet this person. Well, my husband was with his co-host, and I wouldn't love telling that story.
I
think we
we'll
have to wait
to see if this even pans out because it's all just reportedly.
That's right.
Page 6.
And we have to see if the other Andrew shoe drops.
We had to get that in.
Stopped the show to get that in.
DBL, why did Hugh Grant hate playing an Oompa Loompa in the new Wonka movie? We're talking about it next.
He looks ridiculous.
After Senator Angus King proposed his gun bill called the Go Safe Act, those in Maine's Republican Party targeted the senator, which leads us to the Facebook post saying, by the way, Angus King has never, ever, not once, gotten one of his bills signed into law. So is it true? Has Angus King never had any of his bills signed into law? Our sources, GovTrack, Senator Angus King's office, and the University of Maine Political Science Department. GovTrack is a project by the company Civic Impulse, a data and tracking source for congressional transparency websites. According to GovTrack, Senator Angus King has successfully presented 7 bills that have become laws in his 10 years in office. So, we can quickly verify that the claim by the Maine Republican Party is not true. According to Senator King's office, in an email, a spokesperson responds to the claims, writing, quote, "It is untrue. Like all falsehoods, let's not give it more power/audience by amplifying it."
I think the bigger issue is that it's a lot easier to spread disinformation today than it ever has been before, right?
That's University of Maine political science professor and department chair Mark Brewer. According to the professor, putting out claims that are not true, despite how easy they are to disprove, is increasing in American politics.
For many Americans, there are simply no more umpires, right? It's just nobody there to say whether something is inbounds or out of bounds.
He says it's because people tend to gravitate towards more information that further establishes their biases and their view of the world. So, once again, we can verify that the claims from the Maine Republican Party against Angus King are not true. With your Verified, I'm Jack Bowman.
You're the funny little man who's been following me.
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
An Oompa what now?
Allow me to refresh your memory.
Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
That was a clip from the new Willy Wonka movie, and while lots of people are excited for the film, one of its stars hated it. So during a recent interview, Hugh Grant said, quote, "I couldn't have hated the whole thing more. I slightly hate making films, but I have lots of children and need money." The film's director says Hugh's curmudgeon qualities are exactly the reason why he was cast as an Oompa Loompa. He said the characters are sarcastic, scornful, and funny, which is a perfect fit for Hugh. Well, at least he was honest about, like, you know, you got to secure the bag.
Yeah. He and you know, for as much as people that might take away from the fantasy, I look at it like this: hate is an emotion. And when you're looking at people act, you want to see them emote. And wherever that is coming from, whether, like we've heard famously, co-stars hated each other or then they ended up falling for each other afterwards, you felt that kind of spark on camera. So as long as there's some emotion behind it and I'm being entertained, you know, shout out to Hugh, check clear.
I think he makes a fabulous Oompa Loompa with his little orange face and his green hair and his misery of his, you know, 63 years of hating being an actor but doing the best movies there possibly are that we watch on repeat. Fabulous. And yeah, he has got 5 children, but he's also got a net worth of 150 million, so he's not doing too bad.
Right, so there's some time. I gotta be honest, this is just very how I want my Hugh Grant. I don't want a sunny Hugh Grant. I want a very cloudy Hugh Grant who's mad about everything in that accent that, you know, is so wonderful. This is just who he is. He's very on brand, and I think it's part of the publicity of Wonka to give him this like, oh, I hated doing it, and people are going to run to it. I'm not going to watch it because the only real Willy Wonka film is the Gene Wilder hard stop period.
Tori.
Timothy Chalamet is nowhere close to being the idea of Wonka. The idea that Wonka could suddenly kill one of the kids was the weird part about Willy Wonka, and Gene Wilder had that weird affect to him. Timothy Chalamet, I'm like, you could be blown over by a wind gust.
No, he is fabulous.
Tell
he
us
is
how you really feel.
Yeah, a kid killer on camera.
No, I just don't think he makes a great Willy Wonka. I like Timothy Chalamet.
But you do understand that there are different kids on the planet now. So like, they're not going to go back and watch the Gene Wilder.
But if you read the Roald Dahl, he's a weird, twisted man, and they're playing it like doo-doo-doo.
No, but I think we need to see
it is a
prequel.
prequel.
Yes, prequel. Okay, well,
yes.
I don't love it.
Well, apparently actress Anya Taylor-Joy is an iPhone user. During a red carpet event, a fan gave her an Android phone to take a selfie, and Anya could not figure it out. She gave it a couple different tries, but was never able to take the picture. She did, however, take lots of selfies with fans who had iPhones. My sister and I, Ebony, we did a whole podcast surrounding this topic because it's been such a huge point of contention. She is an Android user, and I am an iPhone user. And on our group chats for the family, we're constantly getting all of these grainy videos and photos because of the Android users who refuse to switch to iPhones. Now, my sister's point was that she is an engineer and that real people who use phones are Android users and not iPhone users. And my point is, why are you messing up the family group chat? I can't even see my nieces and nephews. They all look pixelated.
Yes.
I'm missing out on family moments because they're too stubborn to switch.
Also, to your point with that group chat, once an Android user is in there, you can't leave that group chat. It's weird. They suck you in. Yeah, you can't leave. It's a weird kind of...
I just hate the green.
I do want to...
The emojis are terrible as well.
Yeah, but they're changing the green.
I do want to ask each of you this, because I was looking at her trying to take those selfies. So put yourself in her shoes. You have to manage a PR here. If you do it once and give it back, you're going to get killed for that. How many selfies do you attempt before you're like, I have to move on to have other people?
She tried a fair few times, didn't she?
How many would you do? Realistically?
2 or 3 tops.
Okay, what about you?
2.
I would give it 3.
3?
Yeah, 3 tries.
I would definitely
Then they're going to have to do it themselves.
Well,
also, a little update to Android iPhone. Yeah. There's technology that's improving the group chat. So there's your update. We'll be right back.
Definitely an Android user told you that.
Yeah. Someone in our ear.
Walking outside to a car covered in ice or snow usually means putting on some gloves, pulling out your trusty ice scraper, and taking time to clear the mess, so you don't put other cars at risk, like this guy. Many people have shared at-home tricks they use to clear snow or ice from their car faster on social media. Using these sources, here are 3 things we verified you should not use to de-ice your car. No-no number 1, using hot water or homemade solutions. Pouring hot water over snow or ice might seem like an efficient way to melt the mess away, but according to the Rochester Mazda car dealership, the sudden temperature change could crack your windshield. And as for those homemade solutions, like mixing water with ammonia or vinegar, a AAA spokesperson says using any chemical solution that is not manufactured for snow removal on cars could also create small cracks and craters in the windshield, making it unsafe to drive. And they could damage your car's paint too. Next up, using the wrong tools. 1A Auto, an auto repair company, says to never use a shovel to clear snow off your car because many shovels have a metal blade or other sharp edge that will scratch your car's paint. So, what about a broom? 1A Auto says if the bristles are stiffer than a regular snow brush, that can also damage the paint. And finally, using your windshield wipers. Anco Wipers, a blade manufacturer, says making your wipers do the heavy lifting could tear the blades, making them less effective. They also say you shouldn't snap the blades to get ice or snow off. If the spring is tight enough, it can cause the wiper to crack the glass in your windshield. So, now that you know what not to do yourself a favor and find your ice scraper or snow brush before a storm hits. And be kind to your wipers. Use your defrosters to melt ice away on your windshield. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Colder temperatures are on the way for most of the country, and Verify viewer David sent us a text asking if someone can get sick just from being out in cold or rainy weather, as claimed in a popular old wives' tale. So, let's verify. Can cold or rainy weather make you sick? Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Johns Hopkins Medicine, the Mayo Clinic, and Virtua Health. A cold is a minor infection of the nose and throat that the Mayo Clinic and Virtua Health say you can catch through two primary methods. One is from airborne droplets spread when an infected person coughs or sneezes nearby. The other is when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches their eyes, nose, or face. Both sources say you can catch a cold regardless of what the weather is like outside. So it's false that cold or rainy weather can make you sick, although it can indirectly make you more vulnerable to an illness. Johns Hopkins Medicine explains when the weather is bad, we spend more time indoors surrounded by other people, which increases our chances of encountering a sick person. The CDC recommends washing your hands often and to avoid touching your face to reduce the risk of catching a cold. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. 2024 is right around the corner, and it's time to get ahead of your health for the new year. 2024 Medicare Advantage enrollment starts now, and you can review all of your benefits with Medicare Advantage advisors. Now is the time to call for your free Medicare benefits review. You won't get additional benefits automatically, so many Americans already on Medicare may not have a plan with all the benefits for them. But now you can make sure you have a plan that works best for you for a healthy 2024. So contact Medicare Advantage advisors today. The benefits review is free. Call 1-800-975-3361. Before we go, we've got some sad news. Famed television writer and producer Norman Lear died yesterday. He was 101 years old. His TV sitcoms like All in the Family, The Jeffersons, and Good Times dominated network ratings in the 70s, forever changing the face of TV. They were ingenious for their comedic take on political and social commentary in a way that had never been done before on television. Obviously, we saw the reboots, the live reboots with Norman Lear.
That's right.
Really kind of brought his contribution to a whole new audience. Very sad.
But I think it has to be said that his television shows were funny and entertaining, of course, but they changed the way people thought. And they changed how people had an outlook on life. A lot of people saw Archie Bunker and said, is that how I look? Is that how I sound? They really just showed people, hey, you might have a gay neighbor. You might have an interracial couple. And everybody's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, television did a lot to change people's thinking. Will and Grace-ification before Will and Grace.
Absolutely. May you rest in peace. DBL's New Every Day will be back tomorrow.